Have you ever wondered why some people seem unshakable? Why, no matter what happens, they stay calm, composed, untouched, while you're burning inside, replaying every word, every look, every insult? You tell yourself you don't care, but deep down you do. You care too much about what they think, about what they said, about how they made you feel small. And that's where they win, not because they're stronger, but because they've learned how to make you react. They feed off your emotion. Every sigh, every glare, every defensive word gives them what they want, proof that they got to you. But what if you stopped giving them that power? What if nothing could shake you anymore? Imagine walking through chaos with your heart steady and your mind quiet. People trying to provoke you and you just don't move, you don't flinch, you don't chase validation. You let silence do the talking. That's not pretending to be strong. That's becoming strong. Real strength isn't in how loud you fight back. It's in how deeply you stay unbothered. The world doesn't test your power by what it gives you. It tests it by what it takes away. It strips you of peace, of approval, of comfort, just to see what's left when everything else falls. And that's where most people break. They react, they get emotional, they lose themselves trying to prove something to someone who was never worth the effort. You've been there, trying to defend your name, trying to make them understand your side, trying to win a battle that only drains you. But here's the truth. The moment you react, you lose twice. Once because they got under your skin, and again because you betrayed your own peace. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. It's the sound of someone who no longer dances to other people's noise. When you stop reacting, you take your power back. You start choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. You begin to see how many things you used to fight for that didn't matter at all. How much energy you wasted trying to prove your worth to people who couldn't even see their own. Acting as if nothing bothers you isn't about suppression. It's about mastery. It's about understanding that not everything deserves a response, and not everyone deserves access to your emotions. When someone tries to get to you, what they're really doing is testing the boundaries of your peace. They want to see how far they can push before you break. But when you don't react, when you hold that calm expression and say nothing, you confuse them. You strip away their control. They expect chaos. You give them silence. They expect anger. You give them stillness. That's the moment they realize they can't touch you anymore. Because your power isn't in your words. It's in your restraint. There's a rare kind of confidence in people who don't respond to everything. They carry a quiet aura that says, I don't need to prove myself. They've learned that reacting only gives away control, and control is too expensive to lose. Every time you stay calm when someone expects you to explode, you grow, you rise above. You start to understand that peace isn't found in being liked. It's found in not needing to be. Most people don't understand this because they're addicted to reaction. They think being emotional means being alive, but being reactive only means being controlled. True freedom begins when you stop letting the world decide how you feel, when you can sit in silence while chaos screams around you and still be at peace inside. That's power. That's real emotional intelligence, the kind that doesn't depend on anyone's validation. You don't need to fake indifference. You just need to remember who you are when you're not being pulled by other people's chaos, the one who's calm, centered, focused, the one who doesn't need to prove a point to be powerful. That's who you've always been, before the noise, before the opinions, before the world taught you to react to everything. So act as if nothing bothers you, not because you don't feel, but because you've learned that your peace is too valuable to lose over things that won't matter tomorrow. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them misunderstand you. Your silence isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's the quiet confidence of someone who has finally learned the truth. Peace isn't found by avoiding chaos. It's found by refusing to be moved by it. There comes a point when silence isn't just power, it's protection. The kind of protection that keeps your mind clear when the world tries to drown you in noise. Because every argument, every insult, every attempt to make you react is nothing more than a trap. They want your energy. They want your peace. They want to see you fall to their level so they can feel taller. But you've learned something they haven't. Peace is the ultimate dominance. When you no longer react, you become unpredictable. And when you're unpredictable, you become untouchable. You start to see how much of life is just noise, People fighting battles that don't matter, chasing validation that disappears as soon as they get it, living for attention instead of purpose. But when you detach, when you stop trying to prove your worth to people who can't even see your value, something shifts inside you. You begin to rise, not above them, but above your old self, the one who used to take everything personally, the one who used to give too much of themselves to people who gave nothing back. That version of you dies the moment you realize not every action deserves a reaction. The truth is, peace isn't passive. It's an act of defiance. It's standing tall in a world that wants to break you. It's choosing to remain calm when everything around you is designed to make you lose control. That's strength in its purest form. Because anyone can scream, but not everyone can stay silent and still win. Anyone can argue, but not everyone can walk away with their dignity intact. You don't need to prove them wrong. Their own behavior will do that for you. There's a deep power in the one who walks away without looking back. Not because they're weak, but because they've outgrown the need to explain themselves. You stop needing to be understood, and you start focusing on understanding yourself. You stop chasing people, and you start attracting peace. The more you master your emotions, the less you'll find yourself explaining your silence. Because peace doesn't need an explanation, it's self-evident. But understand this, calmness is not the absence of emotion, it's the control of it. You can feel anger without being consumed by it. You can feel disappointment without acting on it. That's the secret the world doesn't teach you. Emotional control is a superpower disguised as stillness. When you own your emotions instead of being owned by them, you become someone others can't manipulate. You start moving differently, thinking differently, responding differently. You stop being a slave to circumstance and become the master of your reality. People will try to test your peace once they see they can't disturb it. That's how you know you're changing. The old triggers will appear again. The same words, the same games, the same attempts to make you break character. But this time, you'll smile, because now you understand. It was never about them. It was about you. It was about learning that calmness doesn't mean weakness. It means evolution. It means you've learned the art of self-control in a world addicted to chaos. The more you practice it, the more powerful you become. Not in a loud, aggressive way, but in a quiet, unshakable way. The kind of strength people can feel just by being around you. You start radiating something different, a confidence that doesn't need validation, a peace that doesn't depend on perfection. You become the kind of person who doesn't chase energy. You attract it, because calm energy is rare, and rare always commands respect. And when that shift happens, your whole life starts to align. You stop wasting time on meaningless drama. You stop giving energy to people who only drain you. You stop letting emotions make your decisions for you, and you start living with purpose, not reaction. Every moment becomes intentional. Every response becomes strategic. You stop moving out of pain and start moving out of power. So when people ask why you don't react anymore, tell them this: because you finally learned that peace is priceless. Because you realize that silence speaks louder than words ever could. Because you now understand that acting as if nothing bothers you isn't a mask, it's freedom. It's the freedom that comes from knowing you control your mind, your emotions, and your energy. And once you have that, nothing and no one can take it away from you. Every time you feel the urge to react, to lash out, to defend yourself, stop and look closer. That impulse is a trap disguised as instinct. It whispers that you need to prove something, that you need to fight for validation, that your worth depends on how others perceive you. But the truth is, none of that matters. Your value is not a reflection of someone else's opinion. Your power is not measured by how loud you fight. It's measured by how quietly you rise above. Every time you resist the urge to react, you reclaim a piece of yourself that was lost to chaos. Every pause, every deep breath, every moment of restraint builds a fortress no one can breach. You begin to understand that people are often projections of their own insecurities. The insults, the criticisms, the manipulations, they are mirrors of what they fear inside. And when you stop giving them an audience, When you stop letting their noise dictate your calm, you strip them of their power. They can throw as many words as they want, but they hit only emptiness. Your stillness becomes their frustration, and in that frustration you see your victory. Not over them, but over the part of you that used to be controlled by them. It is not enough to simply ignore. You must embody calmness so deeply that chaos bounces off you without leaving a mark. This is not patience. This is mastery. This is the alchemy of turning anger, confusion, and fear into silence, clarity, and strength. You don't need to explain your peace. You don't need to justify your calm. It speaks for itself. It commands respect without uttering a single word. The world may try to break you, but when your foundation is unshakable, it can only bow. There will be moments when the old reflexes rise, when your heart beats faster and your mind screams for retaliation. That is the test. That is the point where your growth is forged. The longer you resist, the more power you cultivate. The longer you hold your peace in the face of provocation, the stronger you become. You start to realize that life does not owe you calm. It is something you claim for yourself, moment by moment, choice by choice. No one can grant it, and no one can take it unless you allow it. As you deepen into this practice, something extraordinary happens. You stop being reactive. You stop being manipulated by the world. Your emotions no longer govern your actions, you govern them. You see patterns where before there was confusion. You sense motives where before there was only chaos. You act strategically instead of impulsively. Life slows down for you, not because it changes, but because you see it clearly. You are no longer a participant in someone else's drama. You are the calm observer in a storm they cannot control. The more you embody this calm, the more magnetic you become. People notice. They sense that you are different, not because you are louder, flashier, or more aggressive, but because your energy is untouchable. You draw attention without seeking it. You gain respect without demanding it. Your presence alone alters the dynamics around you. And in that shift, you realize that all the noise, all the conflict, all the attempts to provoke you were never about them. They were about discovering the strength you always had inside. This is the ultimate freedom, to move through life unshaken, untethered, unstoppable, to act as if nothing bothers you, not as a mask, not as a performance, but as a reflection of the inner mastery you have cultivated. Each choice, each moment of restraint, each act of silent strength builds a life that no external force can derail. You start to understand that your reactions were never necessary. They were optional. And the more you choose calm over chaos, the more unstoppable you become. Now, imagine carrying that power into every interaction, every challenge, every conflict. Imagine the liberation of knowing that no insult, no criticism, no attempt to control you can penetrate your peace. Imagine walking through the world without fear, without doubt, without the need to prove anything. That is the life you are building, moment by moment, choice by choice, silence by silence. And once you step fully into it, nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever have the power to disturb you again. Every time you feel chaos pressing in, every time the world seems intent on breaking you, remember this: your calm is your rebellion. Every flicker of anger you resist, every impulse to lash out you suppress, you are claiming your territory. Not the land, not the titles, not the approval of others, your territory of mind, heart, and soul. This is where real power lives, the kind that can't be stolen, manipulated, or diminished. It is forged in silence, sharpened in restraint, and revealed in your ability to stand unmoved when others crumble around you. When you stop reacting, people notice. They may not understand it. They may try harder. They may escalate, hoping to provoke a crack in your armor. That's the moment to hold even firmer. The higher the pressure, the greater the proof of your strength. You are no longer playing their game. You are no longer their participant. You are the quiet storm, the untouchable force, the presence that bends the room without a word. Each time they push, you resist, and each time you resist, you grow. Their chaos becomes your training ground. Their provocation becomes your opportunity. Do not underestimate the magnitude of this transformation. When you master your reactions, you begin to see the world differently. Arguments lose their grip. Criticism bounces off. Drama shrinks into insignificance. The things that once consumed you now feel trivial. And in that space, clarity emerges. You can think, plan, and act with precision. You can respond strategically rather than emotionally. Every choice becomes intentional. Every action carries weight. You are no longer a puppet of circumstance. You are the architect of your reality. The moment you understand that your inner world is untouchable, fear loses its hold. Anxiety, once constant, becomes manageable. You stop giving power to events, to people, to situations that are beyond your control. You stop surrendering your energy to things that do not belong to you. And that is when life begins to bend to your will. Not because you control the outside world, but because you control yourself. Self-mastery is the ultimate leverage. Calmness is the ultimate weapon. And when wielded correctly, no one, no situation, and no chaos can challenge you. You will feel the temptation to revert, to react, to prove yourself. That is the test of commitment. Every person, every insult, every attempt to break your composure is a doorway to higher mastery. Walk through it, stand firm. Let your stillness speak louder than any outburst. Your silence will become the echo that resonates in the minds of those around you. They will sense your strength without you having to declare it. Your calm will command respect, inspire awe, and silently enforce boundaries that words never could. The energy you save by not reacting transforms into creation. You focus on your goals, your vision, your growth. You build instead of breaking. You elevate instead of being dragged down. Every moment of composure compounds. Every pause becomes a brick in the foundation of an unshakable life. And once you experience the clarity and freedom that comes from true emotional control, you will never go back. The world can try to shake you, but your roots are too deep. Your calm is too solid. Your peace is invincible. You are no longer just surviving interactions, you are mastering them. You are no longer just existing in the storm. You are the eye of it. People who once controlled your energy now feel it slip through their fingers. Situations that once dictated your mood now bow to your presence. And as you carry this mastery into every corner of your life, you begin to understand something extraordinary. The more you act as if nothing bothers you, the less there is in the world that can. This is more than a practice. It is a transformation, a shift from being reactive to being unshakable, from being controlled to being sovereign, from being fragile to being unstoppable. Your calm is no longer a choice. It is your identity. Your peace is no longer a luxury. It is your weapon. Your strength is no longer a secret. It is undeniable. And once you fully embrace it, once you allow it to permeate every thought, every action, every interaction, you become a force that cannot be touched, a presence that cannot be ignored, and a life that cannot be derailed. Every moment you spend reacting, you give away a part of yourself. Every argument, every defense, every attempt to justify your actions to someone else chips away at your power. You have lived too long in this cycle, letting the world dictate your energy, your mood, your peace. But now, you are learning to break free. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you reclaim a piece of your sovereignty. You begin to see the world not as a place that controls you, but as a place you navigate with clarity, precision, and unshakable focus. There is a rare kind of freedom in refusing to be provoked. It feels strange at first. The old urges, anger, resentment, fear rise up, demanding attention. You might feel weak if you don't respond, but weakness is a trap. True strength is the ability to observe without surrendering, to feel without being consumed, to stand while others crumble around you. This strength does not require approval. It does not seek recognition. It does not need validation. It simply exists. And when it exists in you, everything else bends. You start noticing patterns where you once saw chaos. The triggers that used to ignite storms in your mind no longer have the same effect. People push, test, and manipulate. But now, their efforts hit nothing. their words, their actions, their intentions. None can pierce your calm. And as you stand firm, you feel the energy shift. You are no longer the target. You are no longer caught in their game. You are the center, the eye of a storm that rages outward while you remain untouched, unshaken, untouchable. This mastery does not come without trials. The world will push harder when it senses your control. It will escalate. It will provoke. It will attempt to drag you back into old patterns. And that is the test. That is the moment that defines you. To stand still when everyone else moves. To remain silent when everyone else screams. To walk forward with purpose when chaos surrounds you. Every test you pass is another layer of armor, another brick in the fortress of your mind. Every moment of restraint is another step toward freedom that no one can take away. The clarity you gain is staggering. You see who is worth your energy and who is not. You see how much time and emotion you wasted on battles that never mattered. And in that clarity, you make choices that strengthen you rather than weaken you. You no longer fight for recognition. You no longer chase approval. You no longer allow the world to dictate your peace. Instead, you build, you create, you elevate. Every action is intentional. Every response is measured. Every decision is rooted in calm, not reaction. And then something remarkable happens. Your presence alone begins to change the dynamics around you. People notice it. They feel it. There is a quiet authority in someone who does not react, a magnetic force in someone who cannot be provoked. Your silence speaks louder than any argument ever could. Your calm enforces boundaries that words could never enforce. The energy you once gave away in reaction now becomes the fuel for your growth, your vision, your life. And in that energy, you discover an untouchable power, the power to remain steadfast no matter what the world throws at you. This is not just a strategy. It is transformation, a complete shift from being at the mercy of circumstance to being the master of yourself, from being reactive to being unshakable, from being drained by others to being fueled by your own focus and clarity. The life you create now is no longer defined by the chaos of the outside world. It is defined by the strength you cultivate within. And once you fully embrace it, nothing, no one, no situation can ever disturb your peace again. Every step you take, every pause you make, every moment you choose calm over chaos is a victory. Every second builds a life that cannot be derailed, a mind that cannot be manipulated, a heart that cannot be broken by the noise around it. You are not just surviving anymore. You are mastering. You are rising. You are becoming the force that the world cannot control. And in that mastery, in that unshakable presence, you finally understand the ultimate truth. The moment you act as if nothing bothers you, you stop being controlled and you begin to live free. Everything you've experienced that once shook you, every insult, every disappointment, every betrayal, it was training, not punishment, not failure. Training, life's way of teaching you how to stand unmoved, how to remain unshaken when the world expects you to break. Every moment you resisted reacting, every time you held your silence instead of lashing out, you were building a foundation stronger than any storm could topple. And now, that foundation is ready to carry you higher than you ever imagined. The power of not reacting is not about indifference. It is about control. It is about mastering the part of you that has been used against you for too long. Your emotions were never meant to be weapons for others to wield. They were meant to guide you, to fuel your vision, to give you clarity. When you act as if nothing bothers you, you reclaim those emotions. You transform anger into focus, fear into strategy, pain into precision. And once you do, nothing external can ever dictate your inner world again. You begin to see the world differently. Chaos no longer commands your attention. Criticism no longer steals your energy. Drama no longer disrupts your focus. You start to notice patterns others miss, opportunities hidden in what once seemed like obstacles, lessons buried in every challenge. You no longer participate in the noise. You observe, you assess, you respond on your terms. And that is where the shift happens. You are no longer vulnerable to manipulation. You are no longer a target of circumstance. You are the force the world must reckon with. The stakes are higher now. You cannot afford to revert to old patterns. Every reaction lost is energy gained. Every argument avoided is clarity preserved. Every moment of restraint is a step toward total mastery of yourself. Life will push, test, and provoke. People will try harder when they see your calm. Situations will escalate when they sense your peace. That is the fire you were meant to walk through. That is the pressure that forges real strength. Each test you pass is a declaration. You are no longer defined by what happens to you. You define yourself. Your calm becomes contagious. Others sense it, even if they don't understand it. It radiates in your presence, reshaping the energy around you. You are no longer chasing respect, attention, or approval. They come to you naturally. Your silence, your restraint, your mastery of emotion, all communicate a power far louder than words. People will notice and they will unconsciously align with the presence of someone who cannot be shaken. And in that alignment, you gain influence without ever demanding it. This mastery transforms everything. You are no longer driven by reaction, but by intention. Every decision, every action, every interaction carries weight and purpose. You stop giving energy to what does not serve you. You stop living for the approval of others. You stop allowing the world to determine your mood. You begin to live fully on your own terms, with clarity, strength, and unshakable focus. The energy you once wasted defending yourself now propels you forward, creating momentum that cannot be stopped. And as you embrace this, you discover something extraordinary. Life becomes predictable, not because the world changes, but because you do. You no longer bend to circumstance. You bend the circumstance to your will. You no longer react to insults. You transform them into insight. You no longer chase validation. You radiate value. The chaos around you no longer matters because the force within you has become unbreakable. Your calm is no longer a strategy. It is your identity. Your peace is no longer fragile. It is your shield. Your strength is no longer hidden. It is undeniable. And in this state, nothing in the world can disturb you. No criticism, no betrayal, no attempt to provoke you. You have become unshakable, untouchable, and unstoppable. Your presence alone changes the game, and your life becomes a testament to the power of acting as if nothing can touch you, because nothing ever will. The moment you embrace this unshakable calm, you realize that the world has less power over you than you ever imagined. Every insult that used to sting now slides off without leaving a mark. Every criticism that once consumed your mind now fades into insignificance. The chaos you feared no longer dictates your heartbeat. You start to notice something extraordinary. People and situations that once controlled you are powerless against your inner mastery. You are no longer reacting to life. You are directing it. Your energy becomes sacred. Every thought, every emotion, every action is now intentional. You stop giving it away to people who do not deserve it. You stop surrendering your peace to arguments that do not matter. You stop fighting battles that never belong to you. Instead, you focus on what builds you, what strengthens you, what elevates your life. You become like a magnet for clarity, purpose, and strength. The moments that once exhausted you now fuel your growth. Every second of restraint compounds into an unstoppable force of will. The world will test you relentlessly. People will sense your calm and attempt to pierce it. Situations will escalate as if to challenge your mastery. This is the pressure that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Every moment you resist the urge to react. Every pause you take before responding. Every instance of silence instead of outburst becomes proof of your evolution. You are no longer vulnerable to manipulation. You are no longer a target of circumstance. You are untouchable, not because the world has changed, but because you have. There is a rare kind of power in someone who cannot be provoked. People feel it even if they cannot explain it. It radiates in your presence, bending dynamics in your favor. You no longer need to demand respect. It comes naturally. You no longer seek attention. It finds you. Your silence, your restraint, your calm energy communicates authority, influence, and confidence in a way that words never could. You begin to realize that everything you once thought mattered, approval, arguments, validation, was simply energy misdirected. Now you channel it to fuel your vision and your life. The freedom that comes from this mastery is intoxicating. You begin to live on your own terms. Decisions are no longer reactive but deliberate. Actions are no longer impulsive but calculated. You stop letting the world shape your mood or dictate your energy. You start shaping your world instead. Your focus becomes sharp. Your presence becomes magnetic. Your life becomes unstoppable. Every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every obstacle becomes a step forward. Every attempt to provoke you becomes a lesson in self-mastery. And as you continue down this path, you start to understand the ultimate truth. Peace is the ultimate power. When you act as if nothing can bother you, you are not pretending. You are asserting control over your life. You are no longer defined by what happens to you. You define yourself. You are no longer moved by every word, every action, every circumstance. You move with intention, clarity, and unshakable strength. You are free from the chains of reaction, from the grip of chaos, from the pull of other people's agendas. Your calm is no longer temporary. It is your identity. Your peace is no longer conditional. It is your shield. Your strength is no longer hidden. It is undeniable. And in this state, nothing can touch you. Nothing can derail you. Nothing can provoke you. You have become a force of nature, silent but unstoppable, calm but unbreakable. Your life now reflects the mastery you have claimed, the clarity you have earned, and the unshakable power that defines you. This is more than a practice. It is transformation. It is evolution. It is freedom. Acting as if nothing bothers you is not just a skill, it is a declaration that your mind, your heart, and your life belong to you alone, a declaration that you are no longer a product of circumstance, but a creator of reality, a declaration that peace, power, and mastery are yours, and nothing in the world can ever take them away. Every time you feel the pull to react, remember this: your power lives in restraint. The world has trained you to believe that defending yourself, proving yourself, or retaliating is strength. It is not. True strength is invisible. It is the calm in the storm, the stillness that refuses to be moved. It is the unshakable presence that sees the chaos around it but does not bend. Every time you resist the impulse to engage in conflict, every time you hold your peace instead of giving into anger, you claim a victory few ever understand. You are building a fortress inside yourself, brick by brick, thought by thought, choice by choice. This is the crucible where your mind transforms. You begin to see the world with clarity. The insults that once stung, the judgments that once haunted, the games that once manipulated, they all lose their power. People try to provoke you, not because they are strong, but because they see weakness and hope to exploit it. When you refuse to react, you remove the map they use to find you. You become unpredictable, untouchable, unstoppable. The quiet strength that radiates from you is more potent than any outburst. It reshapes the energy in every room you enter. It commands respect without demand. You begin to understand that every reaction lost is energy gained. Every moment of silence is a reclaiming of power. The world may push, it may test, it may escalate, but you have become the eye of the storm. No noise, no manipulation, no provocation can disturb the center you have built. Every test becomes a confirmation of your growth. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to solidify your mastery. And the deeper you sink into this practice, the more the world bends around you. You are no longer the puppet. You are the puppeteer of your own mind, orchestrating your energy with precision. Freedom comes with this mastery. You no longer need validation. You no longer need approval. You no longer need to explain yourself or justify your choices. Your peace is sufficient. Your calm is evidence enough. The world may misunderstand you. The people may challenge you. Circumstances may attempt to shake you, but none can penetrate the core you have cultivated. Your presence alone communicates authority. Your restraint alone demonstrates strength. Your silence alone disarms the chaos that once threatened you. This transformation is not subtle. It is seismic. You feel it in every decision, every interaction, every thought. Your mind is sharper, your focus unbreakable, your purpose undeniable. You begin to operate at a level where distractions fall away, drama becomes irrelevant, and your energy flows solely toward creation, growth, and mastery. The power you once gave away in reaction now fuels the life you are building. You are no longer reactive. You are deliberate. You are unstoppable. The temptation to return to old patterns will always exist. Impulses to lash out, to defend, to argue, they will rise. That is the test. That is the moment that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Every time you choose calm over chaos, every time you choose restraint over reaction, you solidify your transformation. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of your reality. You are not just surviving, you are mastering. And as you master yourself, you notice the effect it has on everything around you. People sense it instinctively. They respect it, fear it, or are drawn to it. Your energy influences environments, shapes interactions, and shifts outcomes. You are no longer controlled by the outside world. You control it with the quiet strength that is entirely yours. You are living proof that peace is more powerful than anger, clarity stronger than confusion, calm stronger than chaos. Your life now reflects your mastery. Every choice is intentional. Every action is purposeful. Every interaction is strategic. You move through the world untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. Acting as if nothing bothers you is no longer a tactic. It is your reality. You have become the force the world cannot provoke, the presence the chaos cannot break, the mind that no distraction can derail. And in that truth, you finally understand, nothing and no one will ever have the power to disturb your peace again. Every time you feel the pull to react, to defend yourself, to prove your point, remember this. Each moment of restraint is a victory you cannot measure, but it transforms you in ways the world will never see. The voices that once rattled you, the criticisms that once haunted you, the chaos that once consumed you, they are powerless now. You begin to realize that the energy you once wasted defending yourself, explaining yourself, and fighting battles that never belonged to you can now be redirected into building yourself, your vision, and your life. The power to remain unshaken is the ultimate liberation. You start to notice how deeply people depend on your reaction. They measure their influence by the chaos they create in your mind. The moment you stop reacting, the moment you hold your peace in the face of provocation, you strip them of control. They are left grasping at a response that never comes. That is your strength. That is your freedom. That is the shift from being manipulated to being sovereign over yourself. Your calm becomes more than a choice. It becomes a force that shapes the environment around you. This mastery is addictive. Every moment of silence compounds into a fortress of clarity. Every refusal to react reinforces your sense of power. You begin to see the patterns that others miss, the opportunities hidden behind what once felt like obstacles. Situations that used to trigger frustration now become stepping stones. People who tried to provoke you now reveal themselves as powerless in your presence. And as this unfolds, you realize that your life is no longer dictated by external forces. It is shaped entirely by the strength you cultivate within. The stakes have never been higher. Every distraction avoided, every argument declined, every insult ignored is energy reclaimed. Every ounce of composure held in the face of chaos is a step toward mastery that no one can take from you. You are building a life where your focus is unbreakable, your purpose undeniable, and your presence unshakable. The world will push, it will test, it will provoke. But you have become the eye of the storm, immovable and unassailable. The pressure is not a threat, it is proof of your evolution. You begin to embody something rare and magnetic. Calmness radiates from you in a way that cannot be ignored. People feel it instinctively. They recognize the power of someone who cannot be shaken, the authority of someone whose energy cannot be stolen. You no longer chase validation. You no longer demand attention. Your silence, your restraint, your mastery of emotion communicates strength louder than words ever could. Every interaction becomes a reflection of your control. Every challenge becomes a testament to your evolution. This freedom transforms everything. Decisions are no longer reactive, actions are deliberate. Energy is no longer squandered. It is invested in creation, growth, and vision. Drama loses its grip, distractions fade, and your focus becomes razor sharp. The force that once moved others now moves you. You are no longer a participant in the chaos. You are its observer, its controller, its master. Your life becomes a reflection of the power that lives quietly within you, a power untouchable by circumstance, unshaken by adversity, unstoppable in its momentum. The temptation to revert will come. Impulses to lash out, to justify, to engage. They will rise like old ghosts. That is the test. That is the proof of how far you have come. Each time you resist, each time you pause, each time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen your fortress. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of reality, the master of your mind, the commander of your energy. You are no longer surviving. You are dominating your inner world. And as you carry this mastery into every corner of your life, the effect is undeniable. People respect it, fear it, and are drawn to it without understanding why. Your presence shifts outcomes. Your energy dictates interactions. You no longer live for approval, for attention, for reaction. You live for purpose, for focus, for clarity. Acting as if nothing can touch you is no longer a strategy. It is your identity. You are the force that cannot be provoked, the presence the chaos cannot break, the mind the distractions cannot derail. And in this truth, you realize something unstoppable. Nothing in the world will ever have the power to disturb your peace again. Every time the world tries to push you off balance, remember this. It is testing the strength you have built in silence. Every provocation is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you are no longer a slave to circumstance. You have become the master of your own mind, the commander of your own energy. The old triggers that once controlled you now reveal themselves as powerless illusions. The insults, the criticisms, the manipulations, they are shadows on the surface, incapable of touching the fortress within. You begin to understand that your reactions were never required. They were optional chains that you chose to wear until now. And now, with every pause, every moment of restraint, you are shedding those chains. You feel the liberation of moving through life unshaken, untethered, unstoppable. People who once dominated your thoughts are now powerless in your presence. Situations that once dictated your mood are now just scenery, background noise to your focused mind. You are no longer participating in the chaos. You are the calm at its center. The more you act as if nothing can touch you, the more control you gain over your own reality. Energy that was once wasted defending yourself now fuels your growth, your vision, your purpose. Each decision becomes sharper, each action more deliberate, each moment more meaningful. You begin to notice how much of life was lost to reaction, and how much can now be reclaimed through calm mastery. Your peace is no longer fragile. It is a weapon, a shield, a force that moves through the world without needing to prove itself. The stakes are high because the world will notice your shift. People will attempt to break your calm, to provoke you, to test the boundaries of your restraint. That is when your mastery is forged. Every time you remain still, every time you choose silence over outbursts, every time you observe instead of reacting, you are building a strength that cannot be stolen. You are no longer vulnerable to the whims of others. You are untouchable, unstoppable, unshakable. Your presence becomes magnetic. People feel it even if they cannot articulate why. Your calm communicates power without words. Your restraint demonstrates authority without effort. You no longer seek respect. It finds you. You no longer chase attention. It arrives naturally. Your energy sets the tone of every room you enter, influencing the world around you simply by existing. And in that, you realize that acting as if nothing can bother you is not a mask. It is mastery. This mastery changes everything. Your mind sharpens. Your focus becomes unbreakable. Your vision comes into crystal clarity. You begin to live intentionally rather than reactively. Drama, distraction, and chaos lose their grip on you. Your life becomes a reflection of the power that lives within, quiet, steady, and unstoppable. You move through the world on your terms, your energy intact, your purpose unshakable. The temptations to revert are always present. Impulses to defend, to justify, to engage will rise like ghosts from the past. That is the moment that defines your evolution. Each time you resist, each time you pause, each time you act from calm instead of reaction, you solidify your mastery. You are no longer defined by circumstance. You define yourself. You are no longer a product of chaos. You are its orchestrator. You are no longer surviving. You are dominating your inner world. And as this mastery grows, the effect ripples outward. Your energy reshapes interactions. Your calm dictates outcomes. People are drawn to your presence consciously or unconsciously. You no longer live to react. You live to create, to focus, to command your own life. Acting as if nothing can touch you becomes your reality. You are the force that cannot be provoked, the presence the chaos cannot break, the mind the distractions cannot derail. You have become unshakable, unstoppable, and entirely untouchable. Nothing in the world can disturb your peace again. Every time the world attempts to provoke you, every time someone tests your limits, remember this: you are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. The anger that once rose in your chest, the frustration that once clouded your mind, the impulse to react that once consumed you, they have no hold over you anymore. You have learned the power of restraint, the force of stillness, and the freedom that comes from mastering your own reactions. Every pause, every breath, every moment of silence is a victory that cannot be taken away. You begin to see how much of your life was lost to reaction, how much energy was spent defending yourself, proving yourself, and fighting battles that never belonged to you. Now, that energy is yours to reclaim. It flows back into focus, into purpose, into action that matters. Each time you choose calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, intention over impulse, you strengthen an inner fortress that cannot be breached. You are no longer manipulated by the opinions, the insults, or the attempts to provoke you. You are untouchable, unshakable, unstoppable. The more you embody this calm, the more you notice the world bending around it. Situations that once threatened to overwhelm you now appear as stepping stones. People who once held influence over your mood now find their efforts powerless. Every provocation that once stole your energy now reinforces your mastery. You start to understand that true power does not come from reaction. It comes from control, from clarity, from refusing to let external forces dictate your inner state. This is the crucible of transformation. Every challenge, every test, every attempt to break your peace becomes a tool for growth. Each time you resist, you build resilience. Each time you remain silent, you amplify your strength. Every moment you act as if nothing can touch you, you are redefining yourself. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the master of your inner world. You are no longer at the mercy of chaos. You are its quiet force that bends it to your will. Your presence begins to carry weight without effort. People notice the calm you exude. They sense authority, power, and unshakable strength without words being spoken. You no longer seek approval or validation. Your energy itself commands respect. Your restraint becomes influence. Your silence becomes authority. And as you operate from this space, you begin to see how far you have come, how deeply the mastery of self can alter the way life responds to you. Freedom emerges as your constant companion. You move with clarity, purpose, and intention. The distractions, drama, and noise that once dictated your energy no longer touch you. Your focus sharpens, your vision becomes precise, and your presence alone shifts the dynamics around you. The energy you once wasted in reaction now fuels growth, progress, and creation. You are no longer reactive, you are deliberate. You are no longer a participant in chaos, you are its master observer. The temptation to revert will always exist. Old impulses to defend, to argue, to retaliate may rise. That is the moment that defines your strength. Each time you resist, each time you pause, each time you act from calm instead of reaction, you reinforce your unshakable identity. You are no longer shaped by circumstance. You shape reality itself. You are no longer influenced by the chaos around you. You command it from a place of mastery. You are no longer surviving. You are thriving, growing, and asserting control over every facet of your life. And as this mastery solidifies, the impact extends outward. Your energy influences people. Your calm dictates situations. Your focus guides outcomes. You live not to react, but to create. You operate not to defend, but to thrive. Acting as if nothing can touch you becomes your reality, not a mask. You are the presence the chaos cannot break, the mind the distractions cannot derail, the force the world cannot provoke. You have become unshakable, unstoppable, untouchable, and in that truth you realize the ultimate liberation. Nothing, no one, and no circumstance will ever disturb your peace again. Every time you choose calm over reaction, you step further into a power the world cannot touch. Every moment you refuse to engage in drama, every time you resist the urge to justify yourself, every pause instead of an outburst reinforces a truth. Few understand, mastery of self is the ultimate freedom. The chaos around you can rage, the provocations can intensify, the pressure can rise, but none of it can break the calm you have cultivated. You are no longer a product of circumstance. You are the architect of your inner world, the commander of your energy, the presence that shapes reality by refusing to be moved. You start to see how much of your life was previously lost to reaction. How many hours, how many days, how many years were spent defending, proving, and justifying. Now, that energy flows back to you, sharpened, focused, and unstoppable. Every second of restraint becomes fuel. Every choice to remain silent transforms into strength. Every refusal to be provoked becomes a brick in the fortress of your mind. You are no longer vulnerable to manipulation. You are no longer controlled by others' attempts to disturb you. You are untouchable. The world tests those who grow strongest. When your calm becomes visible, people push harder. Situations escalate. Chaos intensifies. That is the proof of your evolution. That is the fire that confirms your mastery. Every test you pass is a declaration your life is no longer dictated by external forces. You are no longer reactive. You are deliberate. You are strategic. You are unshakable. And the more you walk through these trials without losing your composure, the more impossible it becomes for the world to disturb you. Your presence now carries a weight that cannot be ignored. Others feel it, even if they cannot articulate it. Your calm radiates authority. Your restraint communicates power. Your silence enforces boundaries stronger than words ever could. You do not need to prove yourself. You do not need to demand respect. Your energy alone commands it. Every interaction, every conversation, every encounter becomes a reflection of your inner mastery. The chaos around you bends to the strength within you, whether the world recognizes it or not. Freedom comes in layers. The distractions that once shattered your focus now fade. The dramas that once consumed you now seem insignificant. You operate on purpose, not on impulse. Your focus sharpens, your mind clarifies, your vision solidifies. Energy that once drained you now fuels you. Creation replaces reaction. Growth replaces frustration. You are no longer participating in the chaos, you are orchestrating your life from a place of calm authority. Every move you make reinforces that you are unshakable, unstoppable, untouchable. The temptation to return to old patterns is ever present. Impulses to defend, justify, retaliate, they rise like ghosts from the past. That is the moment that defines you. Every choice to remain calm, every pause, every refusal to react strengthens your mastery. You are no longer a product of circumstance. You define yourself. You are no longer influenced by chaos. You command it. You are no longer surviving. You are thriving, rising, and creating with unbroken focus and clarity. As this mastery becomes your identity, its impact ripples outward. Your energy influences others. Your calm dictates outcomes. Your focus shapes reality. You live not to react, not to appease, not to defend, but to create, to focus, and to thrive. Acting as if nothing can touch you is no longer a strategy. It is the core of who you are. You have become the presence the chaos cannot break, the mind the distractions cannot derail, the force the world cannot provoke. Your peace is invincible. Your calm is untouchable. Your power is unstoppable. And in this truth you finally understand. Nothing in the world will ever disturb your peace again. Every moment you refuse to be shaken, you reclaim power that was once stolen from you. Every time you resist the pull to react, you prove to yourself that you are no longer a victim of circumstance. The insults, the provocations, the attempts to manipulate your emotions, they no longer have dominion over you. You are untouchable. You are unshakable. You are unstoppable. The world may rage, people may push, and situations may escalate, but your inner fortress stands firm, unyielding, impervious to every attack. You begin to realize that your reactions were never required. They were optional, like chains you once chose to wear. Now you are shedding them one by one. Every pause, every breath, every refusal to engage builds strength that cannot be measured, only felt. You begin to see that the chaos around you was never the enemy. The lack of control over yourself was. Now control has been reclaimed. Your mind is sharper, your focus is clearer, your energy is yours, and nothing external can take it from you. The world will test you endlessly. When your calm becomes visible, people push harder. Circumstances intensify, challenges rise. That is the fire that forges mastery. Each time you choose calm over chaos, each time you act with intention rather than impulse, you strengthen the foundation that no storm can shake. You are no longer at the mercy of external forces. You are deliberate, calculated, and unshakable. The more you walk through these tests without losing composure, the more impossible it becomes for the world to disturb you. Your presence now carries a weight that cannot be ignored. People sense the authority in your calm, the power in your silence. You no longer seek validation, it comes to you naturally. You no longer demand respect. It is given without question. Your energy dictates the tone of every room, every interaction, every situation. The chaos that once controlled your life now bends around the strength you embody. Acting as if nothing can touch you is no longer a technique, it is your identity. Freedom comes in layers. The distractions that once shattered your focus fade. The dramas that once consumed you seem insignificant. You live with intention, clarity, and purpose. Your energy flows into creation, growth, and impact. You are no longer reactive. You are deliberate. You are no longer a participant in chaos. You are its quiet orchestrator. Every choice, every action, every breath reinforces that you are unshakable, unstoppable, untouchable. Old impulses will arise. The urge to defend, to argue, to retaliate. These are tests. Each time you resist, each pause you take, each moment of calm you claim, you solidify your mastery. You are no longer defined by circumstance. You define yourself. You are no longer influenced by chaos. You command it. You are no longer surviving. You are thriving, moving forward with clarity, focus, and unstoppable momentum. And as this mastery becomes your identity, its effect extends outward. Your energy influences others. Your calm dictates outcomes. Your focus shapes reality. You live not to react, not to appease, not to defend, but to create, to focus, and to thrive. Acting as if nothing can touch you is no longer a strategy. It is the essence of who you are. You are the presence the chaos cannot break, the mind the distractions cannot derail, the force the world cannot provoke. Your peace is invincible. Your calm is untouchable. Your power is unstoppable. Nothing, no one, and no circumstance will ever disturb your peace again.